Hi, welcome back. I'm Susan B. Lochocki, running for President of the United States as a write-in, and I am here to talk to you about abortion, being pro-family, and mother's pay. So, like I said, getting pregnant is just the tip of the iceberg. Now, I think a lot of these people who are anti-abortion or anti-choice are that way because they've never had a child. They're usually quite young and have this fantasy about what it's like to be pregnant. Never mind giving birth and never mind raising a child. So getting pregnant is just the beginning. A lot happens after that. So a lot of pregnancies, even up to 50% in some places, end without, naturally, without any help. You know, the child inside is just not fit enough to survive even being in the womb. So sometimes nature does it herself. Then I wanted to talk about the fact that prior to women having the right to get an abortion in the United States, women who would attempt an abortion before that, in a dirty environment, either self or through some place that said that they could do it. When a woman would do that, the risk to death was pretty high. I don't have the numbers here, but it was pretty high. And when that would happen, both the baby and the mother would die. Now that was pre-1973. After 1973, Roe versus Wade happened and women had the right for an abortion. Then when abortion clinics started opening and they were available and done in a proper, clean environment, then at least a woman going in to get one of the people would walk out alive. So in a sense, by making abortions available, we have more people walking around safe and sound and alive and being responsible, and then with the future idea that they will go and have a family perhaps later when they're ready, when they can afford it. The unfortunate thing is, in 1973, they didn't have mother's pay. So women, being a parent at that time was really still being treated like a hobby, where, we got to go out and work and work and work, but then you have to be a mother and a caregiver and all of this. And being a parent is not a hobby. No. So we're better off with it being legal, just for the fact that we're saving at least one life. And we live in a modern time where we can do testing and we can find out, if a child can survive. And then, we can take things as we see fit. So the reason why it's good to have the testing to see if a child can survive is because pregnancy is not easy. It's not for for everyone. It's a lot of work, and it takes a huge toll on your body, on your mental health too. So there's morning sickness, which I had pretty bad for the first 3 months of both my pregnancies. Apparently there's some wives' tale out there It says it has to do with the amount of hair on the head when the child is born. And both my kids were born with lots of hair. So that wives' tale, I would say, I'm personally saying it's true. Whether it's really true, I don't know, but I would say it's true. Then there's damage to the mother. You know, there's a lot of body changes that happen. And then there's when your child is in your body, it moves around, and sometimes it kicks. And sometimes it kicks different areas of your body. And that can cause damage and numbness and permanent numbness in certain areas. Then some mothers, because of like high blood pressure, diabetes, preeclampsia, things like this happen, and then they can't work. So then they have to stay home. And if they're in an hourly paid job, they don't have any health insurance. So, you know, this is just, you know, directly into poverty. Then there's the depression. And also, the depression, because suddenly you have this belly on you and your husband is no longer sexually attracted to you anymore. So that's another problem. So depression sets in. And you feel fat sometimes. And then sometimes the world tells you that you're fat too. So pregnancy is not that easy. Then you also need money because you have to buy new clothes because you're getting bigger. And, you know, wearing pants. I don't wear pants anymore because I've been losing weight and gaining weight and losing weight and gaining weight over the last couple of years. And I'm tired of buying new pants all the time. So I decided to switch to a dress. And then dresses, you know, they can cover everything. They don't have to fit tight. And then, you know, you can gain or lose weight as you wish, and the dress fits you no matter what. So I'm into dresses now. I mean, I also like them because they're very feminine looking, and I like being a woman. But there are multiple reasons why a dress is more suitable for women, especially during pregnancies or pregnancy time. But anyways, new clothing, yes, so you need money for that. Otherwise, you can't leave the house to go shopping, right, for food. And then another thing they don't tell you is peeing. You know, once the baby gets to a certain size, it starts putting pressure on your bladder, and then you got to go to the bathroom all the time. And the whole peeing issue continues even after birth, but that's coming. So, you know, pregnancy is pretty tough. Your life changes a lot because of it. So to ask a woman who's been raped or who had a brother or an uncle who raped her, you know, to go through a pregnancy so that she could eventually birth a child, no. Sorry. It damages the body. So now let me move on to birth. Birth, there are still 12 women approximately every year who die from birth alone. Women. And I'm going to say that I'm sure I didn't read this there, but perhaps also in the birthing process, the baby also dies. So again, you have two people dying because they had to go through with it? No. So birth in itself is a risk for women. Women die, even in the United States, from birth. So you got to be prepared. You, your husband, your family, everyone has to be prepared for what might come. So accidentally getting pregnant is not a reason to give birth. Labor is pretty darn painful. And then a lot of accidents can happen there. and a lot of damage to the mother. You know, there's the ripping of the I don't even know what you call it, but the vaginal area grows in size, and then the skin gets ripped naturally, or, you know, if the doctor does it, then it's not natural, but it naturally rips. So then you're naturally torn apart. Apparently, the birth itself, I mean, the labor is a steady increase of pain, but then, and that's pretty darn painful in itself, but then actually birth itself feels like breaking 28 bones all at one time. 28 bones all at one time. I know, just breaking a little pinky bone, you know, that hurts. But imagine 28 bones. So that's why, another reason why, women have the ultimate right to decide. At whatever age, whatever stage, for whatever reason, they have the right. They could die, and it is painful. Now today we do have something called cesarean section, where then instead of birthing a child vaginally, you birth it through a cesarean, which is an operation where the doctor cuts open your belly, your womb, and they remove the child that way. And that is done sometimes because it has to be, but then other times because the parents want it that way. What I will say is that if you do it that way, that you cannot go back and have any vaginal births after that. Once you've had a cesarean, that's it. You will have to have any future babies by cesarean. And, you know, I don't know. There might be a lot of plus points to doing it that way. I had both my children vaginally, and I'm proud of it. I enjoyed the process. It was painful. My first one with Kai went really long. It was my first one. I think the whole thing was like 12 hours altogether. After about 6 hours of labor, I couldn't take the pain anymore, and I told them to give me an epidural, and they did. And then that slowed everything way down, where I felt nothing. And then eventually, after another 6 hours, I delivered Kai. The doctors were telling me to push, but I couldn't feel a thing, so I don't know how he came out. He just came out. So they do have painkiller. And maybe for the first one, maybe that is the way to go, because you don't feel it, you know. You can take your pain as long as you can take it, and then you say, you know what, I can't take it anymore. They give you the epidural, and then you deliver. Maybe that's a good idea for your first baby. For the second one, for Jessica, I was, you know, my what do you call it? Amniotic sac broke, and then I knew, you know, labor started immediately, and it was pretty quick altogether. I think it was a 5-hour altogether labor to birth process. Oh no, actually, whoops, no, sorry. For her, the amniotic sac did not break. That's right. We broke that at the very end, which sent me directly into the birthing process, and then she was born within a few minutes. But the pain was excruciating, but it was very short-lived, and she's here. It was 3 pushes. 1 push to get her into place, 1 push to get the head out, 1 push to get the body out, and I was done. And as soon as the baby's out, the pain stops. So that's the other thing. But like I said, there's a lot of damage that happens, so you have to be prepared for that. What I will say since birthing vaginally, what I've learned is that the vagina goes back as much as possible, of course, but because of the damage that's done, there's less feeling in the vaginal area itself. But for women, that doesn't really matter so much because we don't orgasm through the vagina anyways. We orgasm, our clitoris is on the outside, and it's probably on the outside to protect it from birth, so that we don't, so that we can still enjoy sex without the need of the feeling in the vagina. So anyway, that's something that happens. It might sound terrible, but it actually, I think, ultimately for women, it plays no role anyways. But yeah, we might after birth, your vagina is a little bit larger, I suppose. So that is something. It's damage. Men have to be prepared for that. Oh, I wanted to keep everything under 15 minutes, but we went now to 16. Then, what did I want to say? Oh, and then there's, they tell you to do these Kegel exercises, and I did them, and I did them, and I did them, and I still, when I sneeze and cough and run sometimes, I still have a little pee leakage, so then I always have to wear, a protection in my underwear so that I don't pee all over the place. So that is, you lose control of your process there in your bladder. So I don't know what the technicalities is, but that's all due to giving birth. Yeah, that's the realities of natural birth. Then after birth, well, you know what? I'm going to stop there, I think, and then I'll pick it up to what happens, when in raising a child, because that's the next step. You don't just give birth when you have a child, then there's the lifelong commitment that you have too. All right, so that's for my next video.